Hey guys, hello everyone and welcome to the channel. So today the question paper, response sheet and provisional answer key, everything has been uploaded on the CSIR NTA website. I have already made a video on that and I guess you all are quite aware about that, right? And you have already downloaded it and you have already matched like which questions you have done and which one are correct or not. In case if you are feeling difficulty in that, if you are not getting that provisional answer key, so I'll just put that link in the description of this video. You can download directly the provisional answer key and you can check your answers by putting down the question ID. Okay, so you have to put the question ID and the answer will be correct answer is given in the provisional answer key. Okay, so I'll be talking about the challengeable questions because as the provisional answer key has been announced, there are a lot of questions which have been like there are a lot of confusion in those questions, and I'm also shocked there are a lot of questions which are actually debatable. There are a lot of mistakes in the answer key. So let's try to see them. There are some of the misconceptions. There are some questions which are actually correct, but people are saying it's wrong. So I'll just try to mention all these things. I'll just try to take out whatever data source or whatever source I have. Okay, so with that I'll try to explain you that what is going to be the correct answer. Okay, so I'll start from the four markers itself and I have just marked those questions. So I'll just quickly go to those questions only which are quite debatable. So if you see this question, this particular one which says the first one, which is based upon your rate constant. Okay, so the question basically based upon your order of the reaction. So it was asked that what is going to be the order of the reaction, the concentration and time were given to you. Now there is a lot of debate on this question, there is a lot of confusion on this question. Okay, the simple way of solving this is by plotting 1 by concentration versus time, and in that case you will see you will get a straight line with a with a positive slope and also a intercept on the positive y-axis. So this is going to tell you that this particular one is a second order reaction. It's actually a second order reaction. You can verify this. There are a lot of ways of verifying it. I also tried to do in between when I was solving. I thought it is first order reaction because I just plotted the points and I plotted ln concentration versus time. So there also I was getting a straight line. So I thought that probably it is the first order reaction, but no. So to verify this, that whether it's the first order or second order, what I did is I just tried to equate it using the first order and second order equation. So with the first order equation you have 2.303 upon T log initial concentration divided by the final concentration, and you can just take it for the two different times. Okay, so it can be T1 and the final concentration can be A1, and it will be 2.303 upon T2 and log initial concentration by final concentration A2. So with this, because the rate constant is going to remain same over all the reaction, so that's why you can equate it like that. And what I did is I just tried to plot T1 for this, okay, and then I just tried to plot T2 for this. Okay, so both of them, when I put over here the values, so 2.303 and this value will be cancelled out, so it will be 1 upon 1, and log initial concentration is let's say 1 only, divided by the final concentration is 0.8, and on the other side if you see, so over here it will be 1 upon 2 because the time here is 2 minutes or 2 whatever the unit is, and then log initial concentration is 1, final concentration is 0.67. it is not going to become equal. Okay, you can just calculate that. I have done it in the rough, so I'll just tell you the values. So what values you are getting here, you are going to get 0.09. Okay, 0.0969, and on the other side you are going to get 0.087, which is not at all equal to each other. So that's why uh, this is not going to be a first order reaction, that is verified. Now let's verify it for the second order reaction. So I tried to do the same thing for the second order reaction. Over there we have 1 upon T1, in the bracket we have 1 upon final concentration minus 1 upon initial concentration. So I did it for the two of the, again for the both of the points. So I got it as 1 upon T2 and it's like 1 upon uh, final concentration minus 1 upon initial concentration. When I put the values here, all the values like the same values which were there, when I substituted that, so it became 1 upon 1 and it's 1 upon 0.8 minus 1 upon 1 is equals to this side it's 1 upon 2, and this is like 1 upon 0.67 minus 1 upon 1. On solving this, on the left hand side I got 0.25, all right, and on the right hand side I got 0.49 upon 2, which is approximately equal to 0.25. right? So this is verifying it, that's the second order reaction. So this is a wrong question, okay? It's something which can be challenged, and yeah, so the correct answer is not correct according to the provisional answer key. According to the provisional answer key, the answer was option number 2, that is one first order reaction, but the correct answer which should be there is your second order reaction. So it has to be a second order reaction. All right. Now let's look upon the other options or other questions which we have. So let me just take it out. The other one, which is like where there is a lot of debate, where everyone is telling that this is not a correct answer, but I'll say that this is the correct answer. It says that the excess molar entropy of the mixing of liquid A with liquid B is minus R ln 2. The experimentally observed change in the entropy upon mixing of 1 mole of liquid A with 1 mole of liquid B is. So when you are going to calculate this, like the entropy of mixing, that is your delta S of mixing, there are two different formula, but I generally use this minus R, then you have Ni ln Xi, okay? So you can use this sigma you have over here basically, so minus R, then you have sigma Ni ln Xi, okay? This is what we generally use. So you can also have, like, you can take out N over here, the total number of moles, and you can have Xi ln Xi, that is also correct. So based upon it, if you do, so it is like minus R, and here you have like 1 mole of liquid A. So 1 mole of liquid A, and ln the number of, like the mole fraction of liquid A is 1 upon total mole is 1 plus 1, so 1 upon 2, and plus again if you do that again, so it will be like 1 ln 1 upon 2. So if you solve this, it will become 2 ln like this is going to be how much? It is going to be minus R, and this is going to make it as like, yeah, so if you add it, so it becomes 2 ln 1 upon 2. Ln 1 upon 2 will be how much? So minus R, and this will be like R ln 1 minus ln 2. That's what you can write down. Sorry, it won't be R, it should be 2 here, right? Because 2 is here. Sorry, let me erase this. Yeah, so you have this 2 ln 1 minus ln 2, and basically ln 1 is 0, so this minus and this minus becomes plus, and you get like 2R ln 2. This is what you get as delta S mix. Now you have excess molar entropy given as minus R ln 2. That's where the question is, and that's where people are getting confused. See, your experimentally observed, okay, your delta S of experiment will be equal to delta S of excess entropy, and along with that you have to add delta S of mixture, okay, of mixture. So when you add both of these, simply if you add it, you will get option number D as the correct, and that's where people have done, and that is the wrong answer, okay? You have just added 2R ln 2 with minus R ln 2, so you just did it, you just got it as plus R ln 2. That is not correct, okay? See, this is molar entropy, means this is the entropy of 1 mole. Overall the solution is of 2 mole, right? So your excess molar entropy, the total excess molar entropy, okay, that is going to be, it says, right, the excess molar entropy of mixture of liquid A with liquid B is this much, but in the reaction you have taken 1 mole of liquid A and 1 mole of liquid B, so overall the overall molarity or overall number of moles of the mixture is going to be 2 mole, right? So that's why your excess molar entropy becomes 2 times of this, so it becomes like minus 2R ln 2, and with that if you add 2R ln 2, that is going to cancel out, and you will get 0. So 0 is the correct answer. This is the correct one, okay? This is correct. There is nothing wrong in this particular answer. This is how it has to be done. Okay, let's take the next one, and let's see where it is. Yeah, so there is this particular question. Actually I tried to solve this, but I didn't got any of the option with that, okay? Basically what you have to do is you have to find out, it says energy of separation of 12C16O rotational energy level between J is equals to 3 and J is equals to 9 is 24 centimeter inverse. So basically you have energy of the ninth state minus energy of the third state, and this is given to you as 24 centimeter inverse. So energy of any state is going to be calculated as, you know the formula, right? It's like BJJ plus 1. This is how we calculate energy of jth state. So for 9, it will be 9B and 9 plus 1 minus 3B and 3 plus 1. This is equals to 24. Now over here if you calculate, you are going to get 90B and minus here you are going to get 12B, right? 4 into 3 is 12, it is equals to 24. So you are going to get 78b is equals to 24. So b becomes 24 upon 78. Now that's quite fine. Okay, the problem is that here they are asking you about, they have given you for 12c and 16o, and they are asking you for 13c and 16o. Okay, so how you are going to do the next part? What you have to do is you have to see how your rotational constant is proportional to the like moment of inertia, how it depends upon moment of inertia. Now you know b is inversely proportional to your moment of inertia, and you know moment of inertia is directly proportional to the reduced mass. So what you can say is b is directly proportional to your reduced mass, right? Sorry, inversely proportional to your reduced mass. That's what I can say. Now based upon this particular thing, what I can do is I can just use it like this: b1 upon b2 is equals to I can have mu2 upon mu1. That's what I will have. So what you have to do here, mu2 is reduced mass of your 13c and 16o. You can calculate the reduced mass. The formula is m1 m2 upon m1 plus m2, and the reduced mass of first one is for your 12c and 16o. So this is the reduced, you can calculate the reduced mass for this also. Just put both the values here, and rotational constant here, this is your b1. Okay, you have calculated for 12c and 16o. So b1 is given to you, you have to find out b2. b2 is what you have to find out. So by solving this you will get it. I think I have made some calculation mistake, I have not done it properly. The correct answer is given to you as 1.9. just try it whether you are getting the answer like this or not. If you are not getting the answer, then probably there is some mistake in the question and it needs to be challenged. But yeah, this is how it has to be done. Okay, this is the way how it has to be done. So yeah, this is what it is. Okay, I'm not quite sure about like I have not calculated it properly, so I'll just leave it for you guys. Just try it and let me know in the comments that what answer you are getting after putting all the values. Okay, yeah, so let's go for the next one. Okay, I'm just leaving this for you all. Okay, the next question over here, this is a question which you all were asking me since morning itself when the answer key came. The term symbol of the ground state of dinitrogen cation radical. The correct answer has to be option number D, and in the answer key it's given as 2, which is wrong. If you just do a simple Google search also, you will get this as the correct answer. And I couldn't find a proper reference for this, but yeah, definitely I'm going to search for this and I'll let you know whatever reference I'll get for this particular one. Okay, so but yeah, the correct answer has to be this. N2 plus is going to have this ground. If you just search it on Google also, the ground state term symbol for N2 plus, you will get this 2 sigma G plus as the answer. So that is a wrong answer. Okay, this particular answer which is given in the provisional answer key is wrong. Okay, and it is challengeable. The next question which we have, right, so about this particular question where it says the following sequence reaction in which P, Q and R you have to identify. See, the answer is given as option number 1, and I'm not quite sure about it, but if I would be at your place, obviously I would also have answered as option number 2 because this particular species, this has blood red color. Okay, this is the one which has blood red color. I've tried to search for FeH2O5s plus, but I couldn't get anything regarding that. And regarding this HgSCN, so it's in the solid form, it has certain gray color, but in the solution form, the color of it's not given yet. Like I couldn't find the color of it. So yeah, we are not sure about this particular answer also. It's given as option number 1 in the question, like in the official answer key. But so if any one of you have a proper reference for this particular question, if you have this reaction or any part of this reaction also, if you have, so you can like try to challenge this. Okay, there are a lot of chances that this is a wrong question. I'm not quite sure about it, so that's why I'm leaving this question. Okay, the next question which we have over here, it says ki the number of expected electronic transition in CrEn3 3+ and trans CrEn2 F2+. Now many of you were saying that it will be 3 and 3, where En is your ethylene diamine, you know that. So basically in your CrEn3 3+, that means your ethylene diamine complex of your chromium, there will be 3 transition, and this particular one is going to be done with your Orgel diagram. Okay, with that you will get 3 peaks. But here in this CrEn2F2, this will be done with your Tanabe-Sugano diagram. So this particular part will not be done through your like Orgel diagram. The reference for this I'll give you. So I have a reference for this. Yeah, so you can see over here, I have just taken it from the internet. So the reference for this says that for the polarized spectra of your CrF2eN2 plus trans one, you have to deal with the Tanabe-Sugano diagram, and there are a lot of peaks here. And if you just find out that how many peaks are there, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. If you do it from the lowest state, you will get 6 peaks over here also. Okay, so yeah, that's why this particular one is also a correct answer. Okay, it's not wrong. Okay, it's a correct answer. Many of you were confused about it, that whether it is correct or not. It is correct in the answer key. Alright, the next question which we have, which there is a lot of doubt or discussion, is based upon this one. The question based upon your ferrocene, the reaction of your ferrocene which is given to you. Okay, when it reacts with H2SO4, so what you are going to get? The answer which is given to you is this, and I have a reference for that. It is given in the Ajay Kumar, and if you see the reaction of ferrocene and yeah, so regarding ferrocene, the reactions are given to you. I guess the point, yeah, here it is. So here you can see that ferrocene reacts with your H plus ion to give you, like, the H plus or the hydride ion comes and it reacts with the iron center. So ferrocene behaves as a Lewis base, and therefore on placing in a strong acid, Fe plus 2 center of the ferrocene gets protonated. The signal in proton and mass spectrum, okay, let's rest of the things are given to you, but yeah, it gives you this protonated ferrocene. Okay, so this is the correct answer. The reference is Ajay Kumar. The page number also I'll show you. It's 619. Okay, the chapter is cyclic polyene complexes. Okay, one more question I guess we have where a lot of discussion is there. Alright, let's talk about this particular question here, which was asked based upon the correct electronic configuration of the frontier molecular orbital of your Mn eta 5 C5 C5 Me5. Okay, so here it's not C5H5. So remember, the molecule is different. Here you have 5 methyl groups attached on the cyclopentadienyl ring. So based upon that, they are asking ki what is going to be the frontier molecular orbitals. Okay, so for this I'll give you a reference. The correct answer is given to you as option number D, and that is actually correct answer. Okay, according to the answer key, that is correct, and according to the reference also it's correct. If you look upon, I'm giving you reference of Ajay Kumar. Okay, it's a book named Ajay Kumar. The same example or same thing you are going to get in Housecraft also. Also you'll see in your James C. Hui. Okay, I'm just giving you from the Ajay Kumar over here because that book PDF I have. So if you see so if you see here, these are different electronic configurations of your metallocenes are given to you. Here Cp2Mn is given to you, and it's given Eg E2G2, A1G1 and E1G2. So if you look upon the options, it seems that okay, option number 1 seems to be correct one. Okay, but remember, this particular thing is for Cp2Mn. It's not where the methyl groups are attached. In the question we are given with a molecule where we have methyl group also attached. So see, just below that some text is written, and it says, from here we have to read that one or more methyl groups on the ring increases the energy difference. Okay, I'll just make it little above so that you can read also. So it says one or more methyl groups on the ring increases the energy difference between the molecular orbitals of your and basically your spin pairing occurs, and the electronic configuration becomes A1G2 and E2G3. Okay, so that's why reading books help over here. Okay, so if somebody might have read book, he would have done it correctly. So it's like A1G2 and E2G3, and that's what the answer is given. Okay, so correct answer is your option number 4th only. So CSIR is correct with this answer. Okay, so yeah, these were certain questions on which a lot of discussion was there, a lot of people were discussing, and I just tried to find out the references. I just tried to give you the correct answer, and because the time is very less to challenge them, right? Now the problem is that I have not given this exam, so I cannot log in and I cannot challenge the question. Okay, so this is something problematic with me. So I cannot challenge any question because I don't have any login ID or password. So yeah, that's all for this video guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope that you understood and you got to know quite a few things. If you have more questions on which you have doubt, just please let me know the question ID also. Okay, so do drop the question ID as well in the comments. It will be easier for me to reach that question out and just see that whether it is correct or not. All right, so that's all for this video. Thank you so much for watching and have a great day. Bye bye.